In the name of Jesus, from South America, they're coming here, they're coming here, they're coming here, they're coming here, from Africa. Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory. Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of
winning, winning, winning.
Pika hata anda ata.
Winning, winning, winning.
Pika hata anda ata. Oh, the bata rata ande eke eke ma.
Biden even shows as his running mate the most liberal senator in America. Kamala. Senator Kamala Harris. Democrat. Kamala.
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition, they're coming for you. If you are under the age of...
Senator Kamala Harris.
I want to just, first of all, say I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There is so much about what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth
Don't be rude.
that is designed to distract the American people from what he is doing every day, that is about neglect, negligence, and harm.
You are fake news. Bing, bing, bing. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
And in the midst of this public health pandemic, we have a Donald Trump. He knew the deal about COVID. He had been informed that it can kill people, that it is 5 times as likely to kill as the flu. He knew it was airborne. He knew it could harm children.
Kamala. Senator Kamala Harris.
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition, they're coming for you. If you are under the age of 26 on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you. If you love someone,
Senator Kamala Harris.
All right, welcome everybody. We have a whoa, hold on a second. Some suppression balls starting there. We have a very important announcement coming from President-elect Joe Biden today. He's going to be making some remarks about healthcare, and maybe even laying out the trajectory of, realistically, the results in the Senate runoffs will determine what Biden is able to do about healthcare once he's president. But at least in the context of coronavirus, remember that yesterday, a very triggering day for President Donald Trump, because Joe Biden launched his own coronavirus task force. Not a single one of Joe Biden's family members is on the task force. That was weird for Donald Trump, but immediately filled it with doctors, and it made sense who was on it. And Biden's just moving forward. Now, meanwhile, Donald Trump still has not accepted the election results. Mike Pence is going on vacation. Mike Pompeo said there's going to be a smooth transition to a second Trump term. Kayleigh McEnany gave a delusional press briefing yesterday that was so crazy that even Fox News had to cut away and say, we can't show you this stuff because it's all unproven allegations. And we're going to go through all of it with you today. Excuse me. And at the top of the hour is when Joe Biden is scheduled. Now, we're monitoring, I always monitor feeds for you guys. We have an NBC feed and a CBS feed. I've been looking for the feed from Joe Biden himself, and I've not been able to find it, even on the Joe Biden channel. I'm not seeing it. Past live streams. Anyway, if anybody's aware of other streams, in other words, additional streams other than NBC and CBS, I would love to see it. So that's going on. Let me go. I want to make an effort not to fall behind. Oh, people asking if I'm 5'5". Come on, guys. I'm 5'8". Give me a break. I'm 5'5". Well, no, I'm not 5'5". I want to try not to fall behind on Super Chat, so let me get to some of them. Chakaseki says, David, how long before the entire Trump train human griftipede falls apart? I heard Kimberly Gargoyle Foil even offered lap dances for campaign funds. I don't know that that's real news. That may be fake. Nicholas Silva says, oh, hold on. Somebody's telling me to check the videos tab here. So I go, wait a second. Joe Biden, videos. No, this is 1 day ago. I don't see anything scheduled for today. Yeah. So that doesn't seem to be working, unfortunately. Okay, but if there's other ideas, let me know. Nicholas says, David, I can't wait for you and Voosh, two of my favorite children of the Lie Beta. Yeah, the YouTuber who I guess someone said is named Ian. I don't know if that's true. Oh my God, we already have to start banning people. Holy shit. It's going to be a long day, guys, if we're already banning people. No, I'm not autistic. People asking if I'm autistic. I'm not. Yeah. The YouTuber known as Vaoush is going to be joining me tomorrow, and I expect it to be a really interesting conversation. Geshmake just signed up for a year, David. Your content is too good to consume for free. Mazel tov on the exponential growth of subscribers and viewers. The growth has not been exponential. I want to be clear. I don't want to be like Trump, who doesn't understand exponential. Let's not be like them, okay? The growth has been accelerating, but not exponential, okay? Let's be clear. Alex says, looking forward to your chat with Vosh. Steven says, imagine a super spreader event at a victory party for an election night you lost, which you lost because you didn't take COVID seriously. That's what we're dealing with. Nick says, if you only count the legal votes, Kanye wins. Pompeo said there would be a smooth transition into Trump's second term. Yeah, so let's go. Let me just start. I always come prepared. Let's start. A very strong report from Caitlin Collins at CNN. Reporter, is the State Department preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security? Secretary Pompeo, there will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Let me see if we can get video of that. Pompeo, smooth transition. Let's see if that's on video. Oh, here it is.
Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with the Biden transition team? And if not, at what point does a delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security?
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Right.
Is the State Department...
So, I mean, look at the look on this clown's face. Do you think he knows that Trump is done and he just kind of smirks because he has to say this? Or do you think that he really believes that Trump is getting another term? I really don't know. I really don't know. All right, so let's see. Someone said type Joe Biden. Whoops, I misspelled it. Joe Biden, and then start scrolling down, and I will see the scheduled event. Oh, we've got a Fox News feed. Okay, good. So at least we've got, I feel better having 3 feeds for you guys. Depending on only one feed. That's gone wrong many, many times. Oh, and here's the Joe Biden one. Perfect. Beautiful. 4 feeds ready for you guys. So that's Mike Pompeo. We also have video. We covered this press conference yesterday. And when Kayleigh McEnany started telling lies, which was basically when she started speaking, Neil Cavuto actually had to bail. Take a listen to this. Hold on. Let me actually turn this up a bit. And here we go.
Illegal vote.
Whoa. I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make...
He can't in good countenance continue showing it to you.
Sure that maybe they do have something to back that up, but that's an explosive charge to make. That the other side is effectively rigging and cheating. If she does bring proof of that, of course, we'll take you back.
Yeah.
So far, she has started saying right at the outset, welcoming fraud, welcoming illegal voting. Not so fast. We'll have more after this.
Yeah. So even Neil, it's like, I'm not praising Fox News. It's just, it was too crazy even for Neil Cavuto, which is, it's ridiculous. But, and by the way, this so infuriated Trump that he was relegated yesterday to tweeting clips of Newsmax, not even OAN, but Newsmax. Check this out. Let me go back a little bit. This is the stuff Trump had to tweet because even Fox News is like, listen, she's making stuff up out of thin air. Look at the embarrassment of what Trump was tweeting.
That are now coming back to haunt us. Ballots that were mailed out of state, people saying, I haven't lived in Nevada for years. We saw more than 3,000 people who lived out of state get ballots. We've brought those to the authorities' attention.
They've brought ballots to authorities. This is Jody Heiss. I covered Jody Heiss. In 2014, Jody Heiss said women should really need to get permission from husbands to enter politics. He is here as someone very strongly making the case that it was stolen from Trump.
It's very close, and quite frankly, I believe it's on the verge of getting a lot closer.
Right.
Fulton County just came out just within the last hour or so, recognizing that they have a significant issue on reporting that they did on Friday. WXIA, the NBC television affiliate, is already saying that this is significantly going to change the count in favor of President Trump. At the same time, Gwinnett County has come out in the...
Anyway, so this is the stuff Trump was tweeting. Here's another one. Newsmax and OAN, they look like porn parodies of Fox News. It's like very low rent Fox News where it actually could be a joke. It could be satire or a porn parody. Take a listen.
What can we expect to see in court?
Right.
We will pursue every legal avenue because what's going on right now is a total travesty. This is not...
It's like they can't even fully secure the Trump flag to the wall. It looks like crap.
United States of America, where we have free and fair elections with legal votes cast, and that's who decides elections, not media organizations, not the same people who said Brett Kavanaugh would never sit on the Supreme Court. Well, what happened? Michael Avenatti went to jail. I mean, if the media got to decide anything, there would have been collusion. President Trump wouldn't even be the president.
It also sounds like there's plates. Like it sounds like someone's having tea in the background.
Right? Because they've gotten everything wrong. They've been trying to overturn our election results from 2016 for 4 years now. And now this clear...
Anyway, I've seen ISIS broadcasts with higher production value. And yes, I did just steal that line from the chat. So that's been Trump's Twitter. Let's see, an hour ago, Pennsylvania party leadership votes are this week. I hope they pick very tough, smart fighters and we will win. Tweeting Marine Corps propaganda. Highly respected Ken Starr. That's a bit of an oxymoron. Pennsylvania's 3-day extension of the mail-in ballot deadline is a constitutional travesty. Ballot counting abuse. This claim about election fraud is disputed. Watch for massive ballot counting abuse, and just like the early vaccine, remember I told you so. This claim about election fraud is disputed. We will win. That one's not flagged. We are making big progress. By the way, why has Caps Lock been engaged since last Tuesday? Really, really strange. Okay. So that's that. If you're just joining us, we're standing by for statements from Joe Biden about health care. I don't know if this will be related to healthcare policy or if it will be specifically related to the coronavirus, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to complete sentences and all of it. So that is all extremely, extremely exciting. I do want to say thanks to some new members. Oh, this is exciting. Lauren Kaplan, Chinmay Gupta, Erica McClure, Carolyn Truffleman, Eula Grotkop, Tessa Bayer, Natalie Berkeley, Jomard Sabri, Shayna Pizarro, and Julie Davis have all signed up at joinpacman.com. Wow. And that puts us at 10 new members. And we are also counting Twitch. And where are we on Twitch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And 6 on Twitch puts us at 16. Very much appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. Do I think Biden's inauguration crowd size will be bigger than Obama's in 2009? Absolutely no idea. No idea whatsoever. Check out Legal Eagle new video. He covers all the lawsuits. That's a good idea. I do want to take a look at that. Legal Eagle, powerful channel. Very, very strong channel. I do have a new song from Jethro Bradley. Yeah, let's go to the new song from Jethro. So Jethro Bradley is the composer of such David Pakman Show classics as Suppression Balls, Song for Kamala, Paula White is Winning. This is an urgent new track. Jethro just sent this to me as I was about to go on air, and it is wild. Now, let me set this one up for you. I got a call the other day from a disgusting Trump sycophant who was making no sense, and Jethro turned that into this track called Highly Triggered Individual. Okay, let's take a listen to it together. Should I play this? This is one of the most vile callers we have. Take a listen to this. I have not pre-screened this, so let me just warn you. This may not be suitable for children.
Hey, little prickless. Now that your hero is there, are you going to sit there in your little kimono and wear your little hat, rice? Because it's going to
The high-pitched kid voices in the background are genius.
be called no free speech, red Chinese communist speech. But you can't have pork because you might offend the Ayatollahs. After all, they're going to love this too.
No pork.
Make a bomb, and I hope they drop it right on your freaking ass. But you can't have pork. But you can't have pork.
Right.
But you can't have pork. I'd like to stick that microphone right up your ass. You can't have pork.
Wow.
You can't have pork. 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 You can't have pork.
No pork.
You can't have pork. You guys are a bunch of lying, cheating bastards.
This is highly triggered. This is an extremely triggered individual.
You're an asshole. Flap around like a freaking chicken. Flap around like a freaking chicken. You can't have pork. You can't have pork.
No pork.
You can't have pork. You can't have pork. Flap your arms around and lay an egg or lay a big pile of shit in your pants. Flap your arms around and lay an egg or lay a big pile of shit in your pants. Flap your arms around and lay an egg or lay a
This has to be honored at the Kennedy Center, right? I mean, this just has to be done.
pile of shit in your pants. I bet you peed your pants when you heard supposedly won, but he didn't. I guarantee you he's going to end up losing and Trump's going to stay in there.
Wow.
Between your legs and your pants. You're a real queer. Bunch of lying shits.
Anyway, so this is a little peek behind the curtain. That is just fantastic. I mean, that is power. What a song. That is really a jam. Weird Al Yankovic is desperate for the rights to it, to do it as a serious song. Normally, Weird Al Yankovic does song parodies. Weird Al was so impressed with that. He wants the rights to turn that into a normal song, like a non-satiric. It's crazy what's going on. Attorneys are negotiating the terms of that right now. Okay, so anyway, that's wild stuff. And then, people want to hear. Yeah, I mean, we can do it. I played this in the opening, but the other recent track is Paula White is Winning, which is I think this is a great track too.
In the name of Jesus from South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here from Africa. Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory.
Right.
Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of winning, winning, winning. Pika hata anda ata.
Anyway, so the top DJs are really vying for who's going to be able to do a collab on those. Very, very exciting stuff. And then just to get I want to get back to super chats and all of this other stuff, but just to get one more thing out of the way, those of you who follow me on Instagram, and you should, because you see pictures like this on Instagram, would be aware that we got 3 really, really strong retweets on Twitter, and I posted these to Instagram. Really, really strong stuff, okay? Absolute superstar actress Gabrielle Union retweeting very strongly. Very, very strongly, okay? We also got a retweet from the great Leslie Ann Brandt of Lucifer fame. As you can see, she was so impressed with my tweet that she had to take a picture even with the tweet, which is just another level completely. And then for fans of the great show Mad Men, Colin Hanks also with a very, very strong retweet. So we had really some strong tweets, and you would know about all of these naturally if you were following me on Instagram at david.pacman. And I invite you to do so. One of my favorite memes also there as well, election related.
Knockout takes, Almunia saves, knockout follows in, Almunia saves again. Absolutely astonishing. Now here come Watford. Forestieri. Here's Hogg.
Oh, man. That's really good stuff. Okay, so we got that. I'm just going through stuff. I always have an agenda for you guys and want to make sure we get to all of it. So we've gotten to a lot of it so far. Thank you very much. Okay. Hold on. Let me see Twitch messages that are coming in. David, glad I could support you for so long. Keep up the good work. That's G Money Rider. Also hearing from, who else am I hearing from? I guess that's it. That's it as far as Twitch goes. Super chats coming in. Prosian says, most of my family was promoting Trump because he's anti-abortion. Had an aunt call crying after he lost. They didn't like Trump before, but wanted him to win this time. Should we fear Latinos becoming Republicans due to religious reasons? That's actually an issue I'm going to be addressing probably this week. But that is an important, I have a 15-minute segment from today about this issue of Trumpists and people moving. 71 million people voted for the guy, so we can make fun of them. And some of them are dumb and some of them are ignorant. But unless you seriously engage with some strategy to bring these folks over to our side, then it's going to continue being these razor-tight margins. And we're going to talk about that. Ben says, possible theory, Trump's team planned for this, has Barr investigating to find voter fraud the Trump minions framed to get Trump reelected. I just don't think Trump's that organized, to be perfectly frank. Ritualistic Mystic says, I left you a voicemail regarding an issue I'm facing with Trump supporters. How often do you check voicemails? We check voicemails daily. We get 100 voicemails a day, and we use one a day. And they almost always are under 70 seconds in length. So like if you left a 3-minute voicemail, it will almost certainly not be played. And it's really like a 1 in 100 shot because we do get a lot of voicemails right now. The trick to getting a voicemail on the show is you keep it pithy. You get right to the point. And you talk about something that has been on the show. Like sometimes people will call about something really obscure and, it's not going to work for us, basically. Do I have any voicemails? Nah, I don't want to get into other voicemails right now. Yeah, not right now. Okay. And then just keeping an eye on a few other things. Vinthirth says the greatest evidence of massive voter fraud so far is Trump telling his base to vote twice. Yes, very well said. Very well said. D-Matt says, what's your stance on limiting Senate terms like McConnell is on his 7th term? I would be in favor of limiting Senate terms. I would. Let's see. I'm told Biden may be live. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, good. Let's make sure we are in HD. We want appropriate volume for everybody and all of that stuff. We're going to, will Stephen Destiny Bennell be back on the show? I'm glad to have him on the show anytime. Yeah. I'm going to have a story about this tomorrow. We have been 100% demonetized on Facebook. It's so funny because yesterday I was saying the reason we talk about membership is sometimes we get demonetized on YouTube, sometimes Facebook. We have no control. We covered the Bannon beheading Fauci story. And as a result of covering that, I'm not saying 98% demonetized. I'm not saying 99% demonetized. Yesterday, we made 0 on Facebook. The day before, we made 28 cents on Facebook. We are 100% demonetized on Facebook. There's no recourse. There's nobody to contact. There's nothing. And that's revenue we count on. So when I say, hey, if you like what we do, go to joinpacman.com, grab a membership, because sometimes these things happen. All we can control is the revenue on our website. It's not any theoretical thing, right? We had Adpocalypse on YouTube 2 years ago. Now we're 100% demonetized on Facebook. It's a mess. It's a mess. So in any case, I would love it if you went to joinpacman.com. We've got a new coupon code, Fresh Start. It's a perfect coupon code. 70% off. Insane. Our production team actually tried to stage an intervention with me today saying, you've got to stop these discounts. Our livelihood depends on charging full price. And I said, no, we will not charge full price. We will do the discounts. And we are also, by the way, counting Twitch subs, but I won't mention it again. The coupon code is Fresh Start. You can sign up at joinpacman.com. That's the place to do it. Okay, other super chats coming in. Random Great Stuff is asking about thoughts on DACA under Biden. I'm a dreamer and was relieved I can continue to work and live here, which I consider my country. We've been told that Joe Biden is including restarting the Dreamer. Whoa, what happened to my hair? Restarting the Dreamer program on day one with an executive order. I am confident that Joe Biden is going to deal with DACA to the extent that he can. And controlling the Senate is a big factor, which is why we're going to be focused so heavily until January 5th on those 2 runoffs in Georgia. Okay. Matt asking, will the Supreme Court or Republican electors steal the election? I believe they will not. I am still in the mindset that they will not. Tim asking, do I know if other leftists are also demonetized? I don't know. I really have no idea. It's very, very hard to know what's going on. Not that I've heard. But I think somebody may have gone to Mark Zuckerberg and said, sir, demonetize Parkman. Do I think Biden will legalize marijuana? No, he can't. It's not within his purview to do so. We're seeing more and more states legalize and decriminalize, and I believe we will continue to see that. We could look at the DEA rescheduling cannabis, but it is not something Biden can just do. So I don't expect to see that because I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible from the lawyers that I've spoken to on that issue. I am seeing people in the chat talk about how most Republicans believe the election was stolen. Yeah, we actually talk about this on today's bonus show. Producer Pat and I talk about it. I try not to do the same content twice in a day. So if you want to hear a discussion about the level of support that this narrative of a stolen election has on the Republican right, check out today's bonus show, which you can get by being a member. Jonathan asking, David, any info on the Dominion voting machine fraud that right-wingers keep talking about? Nothing that a court has found compelling at this point in time is the way I would say it. Courts so far don't believe anything compelling has been identified. Let me say a few other thank yous. We've just brought in 14 additional website members, which puts us at 30. And because Twitch counts, we have an additional 10 on Twitch, just making notes so I don't forget where I leave off. Beautiful. Ashwarya Chandrasekhar. Jeez, I apologize in advance. Love your work, David. My boyfriend and I are huge fans. Thank you. I really apologize for butchering your name. Let me do it one more time. Aishwarya Chandrasekhar. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Justin says, David, would you be feasible for you guys to try and organize campaigning efforts to boost our chances in the Georgia runoffs? Yeah, I'm going to be regularly covering, really starting tomorrow, what's going on in those races and how you can donate, how you can phone bank, etc. Very important. High percentage of our activism time over the next several weeks needs to be focused on that. Prior Guy says it was a perfect call and a perfect coupon code. Jimmy says, David, Trump knows he lost. It's all a smokescreen to save face. Doesn't care if people get harmed in the street believing his lies. Overt narcissist. Yeah, that's a view. I'm getting emails from people with both views. The view that Trump knows he lost and this is to save face, and the view that Trump really is being kept sheltered and people are telling him, you've got this. You've got this. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. I don't know what the truth is. Joe says, David, even if Georgia wins 2 Senate seats, does that mean it's 50-50? If so, who's the leader? Well, if it's 50-50, the vice president is the tie-breaking vote. That's Kamala Harris. And I'm kidding. It's Kamala. I know, but I have to be, actually, I shouldn't even joke about the Trump pronunciation. Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris gets to pick the Senate majority leader as well. So that's a good situation for us. K-Mag says, can I get a happy birthday? Biden is my present. Yes, happy birthday to K-Mag. Colin says, Destiny's very interested in trying to turn a district in Georgia runoffs if you haven't talked to him about it yet. Okay, I have not talked to him about it yet. And Pedro says, Kavanaugh likely to let the Affordable Care Act stand based on his comments. Let's wait and see. Kavanaugh's slippery. Kavanaugh's a slippery guy. Can you guys imagine, by the way, how triggering it will be to the right for Kamala Harris to not only be vice president, but if we were to get these 2 seats in the Georgia runoff and Kamala Harris gets to be the tie-breaking vote on every single Senate bill that is otherwise going down party lines, these right-wingers are going to explode. They are not going to know what to do with themselves, and I look forward to it, to be perfectly frank. Donna says, skipping my super chat again. Oh, well. You know, I'm doing the best I can. Donna says, people saying the media doesn't call elections don't understand that they're going by the numbers. Well, people saying the media doesn't call elections seem to misunderstand that it's not unique to this year that the election isn't certified until electors vote on December 14th. That's always the case. There's nothing new. Media outlets are always doing math and looking at the returns and deciding is this still contested or is it over? It's not special. Every year that's the case. It's just this year Republicans are talking about it. They're pathetic. But listen, a parallel presidency is starting, and it's starting right now. Joe Biden meeting with the coronavirus task force yesterday that he created. Joe Biden with remarks on healthcare today. He's not waiting, and I think it's exactly right. Luis says, any way I can get on Discord and talk about the impact Biden may be passing immigration reform and why I think polls were off. We may, yeah, I mean, we're opening Discord tomorrow to record some calls for the Friday show. I don't think I'm opening phone lines today, but we'll see how long this goes. But that's something I would be glad to talk about. Paul says, watching from Scotland, Trump is making your country look like a third-rate tin pot autocracy, severing accountability and power from the electorate. Well said. Well said. Tristan says, feels like there won't be a transition. What are your thoughts? Listen, I don't care. I don't care. Does Trump leave? Michael Cohen said that he believes Trump may leave for Christmas vacation and just never return to D.C. That's fine. I'm hearing Trump may never welcome Joe Biden to the White House. Just go. I'm hearing Trump may not go to the inauguration. Great. We've just got to get him out. I don't care. The only concern is, can they actually hamper the Biden transition in terms of getting things in place? It appears as though they can try, but it is unlikely that they will be able to do it. So I'm really not hugely worried about it. Inauguration is January 20th. Exactly. Who cares? Just go. Get out. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Frozen Over Studios says, I've been hearing... Oh, wait, where did that go? I've been hearing rumors that this division of the country could spark another civil war. No, I know that there are some YouTubers who make hyperbolic headlines about civil war and, you know, stuff like that. Some of them also said Trump would win in a landslide from what I've read. You know, I think protests are certainly possible. I don't believe there is going to be a civil war. And, you know, part of the thing that a lot of these right wingers don't understand is if there were civil war and the country was split roughly along partisan lines. Now, if a state has a Republican governor but is very blue, like Massachusetts, which side is it on? I think it's abundantly clear Massachusetts is on the blue side. A state like Arizona with a lunatic, weaponized fiasco Republican Governor Doug Ducey, but they voted for Biden. Which side? Like Arizona is a difficult one. Okay, but anyway, the point is, if you sort of split the country that way, the red country that's left over is completely financially unsustainable. They talk about welfare and all this stuff. The blue states are the welfare supporters of the red state takers. Just look it up. Look at how much money states pay in to the federal government versus how much states pay out. The red country that a lot of these people want would be completely unsustainable financially. Just completely unsustainable. That's a story for another day. Okay, will Pence pardon Trump before noon on January 20th? I don't know. That's coming up a lot. I have no idea. Rika asking if I'm worried about violence. I have military friends told to pack a bag and be ready to go to Philly. I do have concerns about violence. Yeah, I do. Senkomst asking whether I think there's a risk Trump will commit an expanded nuclear suicide. I do not think so. No, I don't. I don't think so. Let me say thank you to the 20 new website members who just signed up at joinpacman.com, putting us at 60. A lot of round numbers today. And another 6 Twitch subs I love, which puts us at 66. Now, hold on a second. We're trying to get to 100 and we're at 66. What percentage is that? 6 divided by 10 is 6. Okay, but you got to do a point. 0.6. Carry the 0, drop down. 0. I'm thinking back to my early elementary math. 6 per minute. Oh, 66% of the way there. Okay, that's good. Boom. Unbelievable. Okay. There's people who think that's for real. That's the saddest part. Oh, this is kind of interesting. If this person is watching, I don't want to, I think it's funny. I think it's great that you were concerned, but I got an email the other day where someone wrote to me and they basically were trying to do an intervention. They said, you know, David, I've been watching your streams. This is real. This is not a bit. They said, David, I've been watching your streams. I think you may be drinking a little too much. You're an adult. You obviously can do whatever you want. This is not a joke, okay? But I think that maybe you're having an issue with drinking, which is so funny because I've never been a big drinker, but especially since the pandemic, because I'm doing so little, I've barely had any alcohol. And I wrote back and I said, I appreciate the concern. I'm not drinking like at all. I really don't drink. But can you tell me what are the symptoms you saw that suggested to you that I was having a drinking problem? And I didn't hear back from them. I would love to know. And maybe it's something innocuous, like maybe the lights make my eyes shiny. I really don't know. But it was really, really interesting. Obviously, I'm in huge denial, guys. I can't even accept that I have a problem. Yeah. Okay, other super chats coming in. Can Trump coup against Biden? No, I don't think so. Captain says, oh, wait, hold on. These are coming in quickly. I'm having trouble catching up. Let me actually get away from super chats just briefly. Because I want to just reset where we are. We are 17 minutes late to a Joe Biden event where he is going to make a major announcement about healthcare. Now, a lot of people wrote to me saying they think the healthcare announcement is going to be about the policy he hopes to pass. I actually think that would be a little premature. I'm thinking this is more likely related to coronavirus, but we'll see. We'll see. He had his coronavirus task force meeting yesterday. I think it's more likely that today is about something related to coronavirus, but I don't know. And we will simply have to wait and see. The latest numbers continue to be pretty ugly. Today, we are already at 60,000 new cases. It's only 2 p.m. on the East Coast and 609 deaths. Yesterday, 125,000 cases. Being a Monday, we did have a lower death number. As many of you know, there's this kind of weekly cycle where on Monday, after the weekend, death numbers tend to be lower. But the numbers in general are not looking great. As you can see, remember when we thought this was the peak? And we went from 32,000 new a day down to like 20. And then we spiked to 70,000. And then some people thought this is the peak. And then we got down to 36,000. And look at where we are right now. Over 100,000 cases every single day now for a while. Deaths, fortunately, not spiking as high as they might. But as you can see, the 7-day moving average on deaths has been climbing for the last 3 weeks, and we're expecting it to continue climbing. It's very, very ugly. And the latest numbers are that we are getting very close. By next week, we will be at 250,000 deaths officially. The real death number, as many of you know, is probably 50,000 to 100,000 higher than that if you look at excess mortality. Depressing, but we need leadership on coronavirus. And hopefully we will get it from Joe Biden, because at this point, Trump's done. Trump is absolutely done with that. Brian's asking about my favorite Frank Ocean song. I'm not too familiar with Frank Ocean. There's one song that that Spotify regularly plays for me. I don't remember the name of it, but I'm not too familiar with Frank Ocean's discography, for lack of a better term. Other super chats here that I want to get. I can't get to all of them, but I will try to get to some. Red states don't need to be sustainable since they've got slavery to go back to. That's pretty harsh. Alan says, my only hope is Trump leaves the country after all these years of myself being told to leave the country if I didn't like it. Yeah, leaving the country is not as easy as some might think, quite frankly. Mom Fur Babies Maltese says with a $50 super chat, I am so worried that they're going to reverse the decision. I joined your channel and used the code. Thank you. I do appreciate your show because I think you are totally fair. I am so happy about Biden-Harris win. Thank you. I appreciate that. Laura says, David, could you speak on the Schumer-Warren student debt relief proposal? They are asking Biden about canceling the first $50K of student debt. Yeah, I saw the headline. I've not dug into the details yet. And I am very, very interested in looking at that. Now, I'm seeing some people in the chat. I don't know if these are trolls or not, but let me address it. Talking about the coronavirus vaccine will be mandatory. Oh, my God, we've got to start banning people again. This is crazy. Oh, thanks. Mods very quickly on that. I appreciate that. Banhammer being dropped. Here's the deal with mandatory vaccines, okay? I want people to listen really, really closely. I'm about to say something about whether the coronavirus vaccine will be mandatory. Make sure it's quiet around you. If you're wearing headphones, listen very closely, okay? There will not be a government-mandated coronavirus vaccine. Okay, everybody heard that now. What you may see are airlines who say, we're a private company. We require a vaccination certificate if you want to fly with us. It's not the government. If you don't have to fly with us, if you want to fly with us, you need a vaccination certificate. You might see public schools or even private schools say, if you want your kid in this school, you need a vaccination certificate. You very well may see that. You may see, after the vaccine has been around for a while, you may see doctor's offices, a pediatrician's office, for example, that says, we only accept, this is not an emergency room, right? There's no duty to treat here. We're a pediatrician's office. We don't accept unvaccinated kids at this office. I already know pediatricians in New York City who already had policies of we don't accept kids here without the measles vaccine. If you want to bring your kid to our office, they've got to be vaccinated for measles. It's not the government making the vaccine mandatory. It's a business saying, we've calculated that even though we might lose some business by doing this, we want to, for the greater good or to protect our business or whatever, our customers need a vaccine. That is not mandatory vaccination. You could have employers, as people are pointing out. If I am, imagine after COVID, we get back to an office, everybody's working together. I, as an employer, in the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth, as Trump talks about, I could say, listen, my policy, free market. I'm a business. I can do what I want, within the law. If you want to work in my office, you've got to have a vaccination certificate. I want vaccinated people around me. That's it. So anyway, there's not going to be mandatory vaccination by the government, but there are a lot. And let me just go one step further. The fact that we all know that 20, 30, 40% of the country doesn't plan to get the vaccine, that's the problem. The problem is not imaginary vaccination, mandatory vaccination. That's not going to happen. The problem is, with everything that's going on, according to some polls, 40% of the country doesn't plan to get the vaccine. Let's focus on the problem, my friends. In fact, I plan to make the vaccine mandatory for Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers, not Facebook viewers. So my unvaccinated audience will only be allowed to watch the streams on Facebook. That's something we're planning on putting in place. All right. Thank you. Let me say thank you to some other members. 61. That is 17 new members at joinpacman.com. Puts us at 83. And on Twitch, an additional 3, which puts us at 86. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. 86, my friends. Delightful number. Okay, as we wait for Joe Biden, just a couple. I see people asking whether I showed the strong retweets. Yes, I did. I can show them again. We had 3 really strong retweets on Twitter. We had one from a Gabrielle Union, Hollywood superstar Gabrielle Union, I believe wife of Dwayne Wade, right? Is that true? No? Yes? Anybody know? Yes. Okay, good. Actress Gabrielle Union, very powerful endorsement. Okay. For those who watch Lucifer, Leslie Ann Brandt, strong retweet. And she even added in a picture of herself reacting to my tweet, which is great. I printed these out and put them on my fridge. They're really nice. And then the great Colin Hanks, actor, son of Tom Hanks. Very, very strong. And we love it. We absolutely love it. Much like Don Jr. said, if it's in the summer, we love it. Okay, nobody knows who these people are. Perfect. Okay, Rocco Thompson says, David, can you assure us the presidential decision won't be reversed? I wasn't worried before the anxiety among the general populace is seeping in. I can't assure you of anything. I mean, I really can't. I don't see any path to Trump getting a second term, but I can't assure you of anything. That's scary. Will Biden rejoin the Iran deal? We don't know yet. Hasn't said, but I hope so. We have a final sanitizing of the president-elect's lectern, and we're expecting Joe Biden very soon. John Milne says, what's your stance on the dispute between Justice Dems and moderate Dems? I have no idea. I have not seen a word about it. I couldn't tell you. Have I read about what Biden wants to do to reverse Betsy DeVos? If so, how likely is it to happen? My wife is a teacher. I have not read about that yet. You know, I tweeted yesterday that I don't think Joe Biden will put Jill Biden as Secretary of Education. I don't think Joe Biden should put a family member in his cabinet. But that being said, Jill Biden would be a dramatically better Secretary of Education than Betsy DeVos. It's the irony of what's going on. Like, Trump filled his staff with family members and cronies. Biden isn't going to do that. He just so happens to have better people in his family than some of the people that are actually in Donald Trump's cabinet. It's stunning. Stunning. Let's see. Have I seen the 2024 Electoral College map re-census? No. Electoral College map. Let's see. Projected map based on new census. Oh, I'm not finding anything newer than last year about that. So I don't know that. I think we just need to wait for the census to finish. Based on July 1, 2019. 24 electoral. Yeah, let's wait until that's finalized, because it's not clear to me whether I'm finding anything that actually is based on the real census response. So let's wait on that a little bit. Inconsolable says, I think you come off as unfair on the vaccine issue sometimes. A large portion of the people who wouldn't get the vaccine won't get it because they intelligently don't trust the government. Yeah, no. I just totally disagree. The anti-vax issue is interesting because it brings together some on the left and right for different reasons. You have left-wing anti-vaxxers who don't trust big pharma and right-wing anti-vaxxers who don't trust the government. But the truth is that vaccines are safe. We have a process. I understand saying I have a health situation that precludes me from getting the vaccine. I understand that. But a general distrust of government. If you're saying that that's a valid reason not to get a vaccine, I am not aware of anything empirical that would support that. And until such time, that's my position. Rocco said, oh no, I already got to Rocco's question. Hold on. Have I heard of Yanis Varoufakis and can I interview him? We've reached out to him at least once, have not heard back. Would love to have him on. Thoughts on the System of a Down comeback songs? Yeah, I heard one. I have like Spotify in my car now. And sometimes it'll say, hey, we have David's Daily Mix, new fresh tracks. And there was a new System of a Down song. It was okay. What else? David, do you think Biden will appoint Obama to an official post? I would doubt it. It's unusual that happens for anything official. So I would be surprised. Langwin says, I would join, but I'm worried about too many direct debits. I don't even know what that means. Anita Recount, nice, says, when do you project the MAGA rallies to resume? There's an Axios report that says it will be very soon. Here's Kamala and Joe. Let's take a listen, guys.
Good afternoon. Today, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a case that could strike down the Affordable Care Act in its entirety. If the Supreme Court agrees with the opponents of the act, their decision could take health care away from 20 million Americans. It could take away protections from more than 100 million people with pre-existing conditions in our country and hurt the millions of Americans who have come to rely on the Affordable Care Act. Getting rid of the Affordable Care Act will take us backward to a time when people could charge a woman more for her health care than they could charge a man, simply because she's a woman. To a time when pregnancy could be considered a pre-existing condition. It will take away free birth control and contraceptive coverage for women. This is all happening at a moment when our country is suffering through a pandemic that has claimed more than 238,000 lives. And we all know that if the Affordable Care Act is struck down, communities of color would be hit particularly hard. Black, Asian, Hispanic, and Native American, because they are at a greater risk of pre-existing conditions from asthma to diabetes to lupus. And they are also 3 times as likely to contract COVID-19 and twice as likely to die as others. Now, I know we all know that we just had an election in America, an election where healthcare was very much on the ballot. Our country had a clear choice in this election. Each and every vote for Joe Biden was a statement that health care in America should be a right and not a privilege.
Right.
Each and every vote for Joe Biden was a vote to protect and expand the Affordable Care Act, not to tear it away in the midst of a global pandemic. And Joe Biden won the election decisively, with more votes than have ever been cast in American history. It amounts to 75 million voices and counting, calling on the Supreme Court to see this case for what it is, a blatant attempt to overturn the will of the people. And the president-elect and I cannot let that happen.
Right.
And now it is my honor to introduce President-elect Joe Biden.
This is the big man himself, right? Ooh, full masking there. I like that. And the little interim resanitation of the lectern. Wow. I mean, these people are taking the, it's almost like they're taking the virus seriously, guys. Wow.
Thank you, Kamala. Good afternoon, everyone. This morning, as was stated, the United States Supreme Court heard oral arguments on the case of grave importance to the American people. This case represents the latest attempt by the far-right ideologues to do what they've been repeatedly failed to do for a long time. In the courts, in the Congress, in the court of public opinion, over the last decade, to eliminate the entirety of the Affordable Care Act. Twice already, the Supreme Court has upheld the landmark law, in 2012 and again in 2015. And the Congress, expressing the popular will of the American people on a bipartisan basis, has rejected numerous attempts, numerous efforts by President Trump to erase the law as well. Now, in the middle of a deadly pandemic that has infected more than 10 million Americans, nearly 1 in every 32 Americans, often with devastating consequences to their health, these ideologues are once again trying to strip health coverage away from the American people. The goal of the outgoing administration is clear from the brief they filed in the Supreme Court. It asserts, and I quote, "The entire ACA thus must fall," end of quote. Now, I'm not naive about the fact that health care is an issue that has divided Americans in the past. But the truth is, the American people are more united on this issue today than they are divided. Recently, as last month, a leading survey found that American people want to keep the Affordable Care Act in place by an overwhelming margin of 58% to 36%. 79% of the American people, including 9 out of 10 Democrats, 8 out of 10 independents, and 2/3 of Republicans, want to keep the ACA protections for people with pre-existing conditions, which would be eliminated if this lawsuit were to succeed. This doesn't need to be a partisan issue. It's a human issue. It affects every single American family. We can't subvert the growing consensus of the American people based on an argument put forward in the briefs seeking to invalidate the law that even many conservative legal scholars, including in the National Review, consider to be, quote, ridiculous. Let's be absolutely clear about what's at stake. The consequence of the Trump administration's argument are not academic or an abstraction.
Academic, imagine that.
They're a matter of life and death in a literal sense. This argument will determine whether health care coverage of more than 20 million Americans who acquired under the Affordable Care Act will be ripped away in the middle of the nation's worst pandemic in a century. Over 100 million people, as the Vice President-elect pointed out, over 100 million people with pre-existing conditions like asthma, diabetes, cancer, could once again be denied coverage, whether complications from COVID-19 like lung scarring and heart damage will be the next flood of pre-existing
Shouldn't Biden be insulting someone by now?
To jack up premiums or deny coverage altogether for millions of survivors who have struggled, won, and fought the coronavirus, fought against the loss of their life. This argument is going to determine whether women, as is pointed out, will once again be charged higher premiums just because they're women, or seniors will see their prescription drug costs go up. And like kids who, whether or not they can stay on their parents' plans till age 26, where their annual lifetime benefits will be reimposed. So someone could walk in and say, die in peace, you've run out of your coverage. This isn't hyperbole, it's real as it gets. When a family is faced with the awful news of a child's diagnosis with leukemia, or a mom forced to battle against breast cancer, an accident that leaves loved ones unable to live the life they've always known, it stops your heart. It stops your heart. It wrenches your entire world right off its axis when that happens. And many of you know that from your own personal experiences. Believe me, I know the feeling, and too many American families do as well. In that moment, the very last thing on your mind, the very last thing should be on your mind, is whether you can afford the treatment. The Affordable Care Act was created to put a stop to that inhumanity. It was created to ensure that families thrust into their worst nightmare of their lives could focus not on money, but on the fight that really matters. Obamacare is a law that every American should be proud of. It's why people with pre-existing conditions are protected in this country. It's a law that delivered vital coverage, as I said before, for 20 million Americans who did not have coverage. It's a law that reduced prescription drug price costs for nearly 12 million seniors. It's a law that saved lives and spared countless families from financial ruin. So this effort to bypass the will of the American people, the verdict of the courts in the past, the judgments of Congress, in my view, is simply cruel and needlessly divisive. Regardless of the outcome of this case, I promise you this: beginning on January 20th, the Vice President-elect Harris and I, we're going to do everything in our power to ease the burden of health care on you and your families. I promise you that. As I said, I will protect your health care like as with my own family. And we've been, unfortunately, significant consumers of health care. That starts by building on the Affordable Care Act, with the dramatic expansion of health care coverage and bold steps to lower health care costs. My transition team will soon be starting its work to flesh out the details so that we can hit the ground running, tackling cost, increasing access.
This is why the Senate runoffs matter, because without the Senate, most of this will be just his ideas. And that's just an unfortunate reality we have to come to.
A lot of these people around the country, as you've gone all over the world, all over the country, enduring illnesses, faced with risky choices, losing their employer plans in droves. Already 10 million have already lost their employer plans. They need a lifeline, and they need it now. They should have to hold their breath. They shouldn't be in that position, waiting to see if the Supreme Court is going to wrench away the peace of mind they've come to now rely on. So we're going to get right to work, I promise you, addressing the issues that families are talking about around their kitchen tables this morning, making sure that they can get in bed tonight with the peace of mind that they deserve, and fulfilling our moral obligation to ensure that here in America, healthcare is a right for all, not a privilege for a few. So come January, we're going to work quickly with the Congress to dramatically ramp up healthcare protections, get Americans universal coverage, lower healthcare costs as soon as humanly possible. That's the promise I make to you. We're going to fight for your family's health coverage the same way we fight for our own family's health coverage. We want every single American to know, if you're sick, if you're struggling, if you're worried about how you're going to get through the day, we will not abandon you. That is a promise. We'll not leave you to face these challenges alone. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together. And we're going to build a healthcare system that puts you and your families first, and that every American can be proud of. I want to thank you all for listening. May God bless you. May God keep you safe in this COVID environment, and may God protect our troops. Now I'm told that we're going to have, we're going to take 5 questions or thereabout.
Questions. Here we go.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect.
During the campaign, you said you were not naive about how difficult it would be to unite the country.
Oh, this is good.
It's now 3 days after you were projected as the president-elect. The president himself says he has won this election. His own administration has not moved forward to give you access to what you need to do to begin the work of your transition. Just a few minutes ago, the Secretary of State, when asked if he would cooperate with a smooth transition, he said there will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. I wonder if you have a message for the president who may well be watching right now.
What will he say here?
How do you expect to be able to work with Republicans when so many have thus far refused to even acknowledge your victory?
Well, first of all, we are already beginning the transition. We're well underway. And the ability for the administration in any way by failure to recognize this as our win does not change the dynamic at all in what we're able to do. We've announced yesterday, as you know, the health group that we put together today. We're going to be moving along in a consistent manner, putting together our administration, the White House, and reviewing.
He's just going to do it.
Pick for the cabinet positions, and nothing's going to stop that. And so I'm confident that the fact that they're not willing to acknowledge we won at this point is not of much consequence in our planning and what we're able to do between now
Basically, we don't care.
January 20th.
We don't care.
Response to Secretary Pompeo, and I also wonder, you warned during the campaign that as the walls closed in on the president, he would behave more erratically. Yesterday, he fired his defense secretary on Twitter. Are you worried that he's disabling the government? And what are you saying to the world leaders who are calling you at this point about the situation here?
Well, first of all, I'm letting them know that America's back. We're going to be back in the game. It's not American alone. Number one,
fired him
I've
on
had
Twitter.
the opportunity to speak with now 6 world leaders, and the response has been very fulsome, energetic, and they're all looking forward to being able to, from Great Britain to France to Germany to Canada, et cetera, and Ireland. So I feel good about the ability to. I said when we announced that the next president is going to inherit a divided country and a world in disarray. The reception and welcome we've gotten around the world from our allies and our friends has been real. I'm having a number of other calls to return, and so I feel confident that we're going to be able to put America back in the place of respect that it had before.
Wow.
Mr. President-elect, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has suggested today that he may not recognize the outcome of this election until the Electoral College meets next month. Have you spoken to your longtime friend in the Senate, Mr. McConnell, and what do you make of his specific comments over the last 24 hours?
I haven't had a chance to speak to Mitch. My expectation is that I will do that in not too distant future.
That should be interesting.
I think that the whole Republican Party has been put in a position, with a few notable exceptions, of being mildly intimidated by the sitting president. But there's only one president at a time. He's president. We're going to have the Electoral College. We'll be making their judgment in December. It'll be announced in early January. But in the meantime, I hope to get a chance to speak to Mitch.
If I could follow up, without transition funding, will you be able to go through with a proper transition that's needed? Would you like access to the PDB, and will you authorize legal action, or would that be too divisive, do you believe?
We can get through without the funding. We're in a position that we feel very good about. There's nothing that slows up our efforts to put things together. Obviously, the PDB would be useful, but it's not necessary. I'm not the sitting president now. And so we don't see anything that's slowing us down, quite frankly.
Shouldn't he be insulting people by now? This is weird.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect, and congratulations to you both. Have you tried to reach out at all to the president? And if he is watching right now, what would you say to him?
Mr. President, look forward to speaking with you.
And you say that you are being able to move ahead without interruption, but to Jeff's point, presumably at some point you will need access to more classified information, secure facilities and the like. What options are you considering? How will you move ahead if the president continues to refuse to concede?
Well, look, access to classified information is useful. But I'm not in a position to make any decisions on those issues.
If he waits long enough, Trump will just blab classified info and he'll get everything he needs to know.
Until January 20th. It would be nice to have it, but it's not critical. And we're just going to proceed the way we have. We're going to do exactly what we'd be doing if he had conceded and said we've won, which we have. And so there's nothing really changing.
But not ruling out legal action.
No, I don't see a need for legal action, quite frankly. I think the legal action is you're seeing it play out, the actions he's taking. And so far, there is no evidence of any of the assertions made by the president or Secretary of State Pompeo.
That laugh.
Secretary of State Pompeo.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect. Democrats are on track to lose a handful of seats in the House of Representatives. That could make it harder to pass legislation with just Democratic votes. And I'm just curious, how does that impact your plans?
Perfect question.
Priorities you think you can get through this Congress, especially if the Senate remains in GOP control?
Important question.
During the lame duck, will you be coordinating with Speaker Pelosi on how she should be negotiating with Republicans?
Well, I've spoken to the leader, and I've spoken to the minority leader in the House. And one of the urgent things that need to be done is people need relief right now. Right now. Small businesses, people who are about to be evicted from their homes because they can't pay their mortgage, unemployment insurance. You know, what's going to happen is you're going to see what people don't realize is the failure to provide state and local assistance. You're going to see police officers, firefighters, first responders laid off. And I think the pressure is going to build. But the fact is that I would hope that the president at least has the sensitivity and knowledge to know that a lot of people are in real trouble right now, between now and the time we get elected, till we get sworn in. And so it's my hope and expectation. I'm sure that the majority leader, the Speaker of the House, as well as the minority leader, are working right now on the priorities they have laid out.
But do you plan to be active in those negotiations, working with Speaker Pelosi to represent Democrats in the table?
Well, we've been talking, and they know my views, and I support what they're doing.
And then my second question was about the Senate. Do you plan to campaign in Georgia before your inauguration to help Democrats in the 2 runoff races there as they try to flip the Senate? And how important is a Democratic-held Senate to your agenda?
Well, obviously, it'd be much better if we had a tie in the Senate, which means that because this vice president become incredibly important beyond what she already is. But we're going to do anything we can that they think we can do to help.
And does a Democratic Senate help your cabinet chances? Does that change how you consider who you nominate to cabinet?
I doubt it.
No, I don't think so. I take McConnell at his word. I understand he said that he will make it clear who he's prepared to support and not support, and that's a negotiation that I'm sure we'll have. Look, one of the things that I would do as president-elect and when I become president is lay out to the Republicans as well as the Democrats who we intend to name for each cabinet position.
Joe's got to stay on mic.
I hope we're able to be in a position to let people know at least a couple that we want before Thanksgiving, and we'll just work this out. Look, I am not a pessimist, as you know, and I think there are enough Republicans who have already spoken out, but I think there'll be many more, not many more, there'll be a larger number once the election is declared and I'm sworn in to be able to get things done. I think they understand. For example, I can't imagine there not being a willingness on the part of Republicans. There's going to be significant pressure to deal with health care. Their own constituencies are in that position. So I'm not.
I hope so. I'm less sure about
I
this.
think we can get a lot done.
Thank you.
Sir, what do you say to the Americans that are anxious over the fact that President Trump has yet to concede and what that might mean for the country?
Well, I just think it's an embarrassment, quite frankly. The only thing that, how can I say this?
Careful, Joe.
I think it will not help the president's legacy. I think that.
Well said.
I know from my discussions with foreign leaders thus far that they are hopeful that the United States democratic institutions are viewed once again as being strong and enduring. But I think at the end of the day, it's all going to come to fruition on January 20th. And between now and then, my hope and expectation is that the American people do know and do understand that there has been a transition. Even among Republicans who are people who voted for the president. I understand the sense of loss. I get that. But I think the majority of the people who voted for the president, a lot voted for him, a significantly smaller number, but a lot voted for him. I think they understand that we have to come together. I think they're ready to unite, and I believe we can pull the country out of this
malarkey.
Bitter politics that we've seen for the last 5, 6, 7 years.
And just to follow up on a previous question, how do you expect to work with Republicans if they won't even acknowledge you as president-elect?
They will. They will. Thank you all so very much.
Oh, man. I really don't know what to make of this because he seemed to be hesitant to insult anyone and kind of like he would be asked a question and then he would think about the answer. It was really jarring from what we've been experiencing. I don't really know what to make of it, but I guess we're just going to have to kind of get used to it, right? I don't think we have much of a choice. It's very, very strange, but we're working on it. A little maybe post-event sanitization wouldn't be the worst thing in the world there. Very interesting event, guys. Very, very interesting event. I want to follow up on a conversation about vaccines from before. Inconsolable clarifies about vaccine. It's not general distrust of government or pharma. It's that this government has suppressed and fired reputable scientists. Yeah, so listen, for people who want more than just Trump saying the vaccine is safe, I think we've cleared that hurdle because the vaccine is from a German company, manufactured by Pfizer without any involvement in Operation Warp Speed, will be submitted for authorization in multiple countries at the same time. So it's not a vaccine Trump was involved in. They've made good on not submitting for authorization too soon. We will see what other countries' health regulatory agencies decide at the same time that we see what the FDA decides. So the point is, I think we're going to have we're not going to be depending on Trump to tell us if it's safe. We're going to have more than enough information by that point in time. Please make sure, because we are going to continue streaming the transition and building up to the eventual inauguration. We'll be streaming Georgia Senate debates if they happen. Ossoff has challenged Perdue. We'll see if he accepts. He was eviscerated in that last debate. We will be covering the election results on January 5th. We're covering it all. Please follow if you're watching on Twitch. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. This is all free. And please make sure to like our page if you're watching on Facebook. We are going to have Jethro Bradley play us out, and I will be back with you guys very, very soon.
From South America, they're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. They're coming here. From Africa. Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory. Pika hata anda ata. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of victory. I hear the sound of winning, winning, winning. Pika hata anda ata. Winning.